we have Anirudh Kuthiala, Director of Product Analytics at Groupon. Welcome, Anirudh. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Gary.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited to hear about your talk. Blueprints for Brilliance. What a great way to start. Framework your way to epic product success. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Awesome. Anirudh, I think you probably have a ton of great content here, so I'm going to throw up your presentation. Feel free to take it away. I'll see you in a few for questions and answers.
Thanks. Well, hi, everyone. You may call me Ani. I am a director for product analytics with Groupon, and my topic is mainly focused on structured thinking and frameworks. I'm passionate about this, and I've been trying to apply this back to every area of my life, personal and professional, which is frameworking, structured thinking. If we're doing or we're required to do something over and over again, if it's a cycle, I found it very effective that we create a framework, think it through, and then refine it with time so that we don't start from scratch, especially our thinking, every time that we go through that cycle. So with that, I will kick this off. Well, I'm a director for product analytics. My overall experience in analytics is close to 14 years. Out of everything that I've worked with, primary domains and stakeholders that I've supported are product, business operations, customer experience, and a little bit of marketing. I am with Groupon, and Groupon is a two-sided marketplace. So we have customers and merchants, and the platform brings them together for customers to discover amazing deals and for merchants to increase their value proposition. Interesting fact, I'm very proud of this one, actually. I'm a certified beer porter from Heineken. I was visiting Amsterdam. I found out that you can get certified with an actual certificate sign and a picture, and I went for it. What I didn't realize was that it's not a fun activity. They actually reject a lot of people. So you got to keep your glass at 70-degree angle and pour it, get the right proportions, and then you get a certificate. So proud to have accomplished this in my second attempt. Now, let's jump right into the topic. Again, talking about frameworks, talking about structured thinking, but here's what led me to develop this framework and put it to practice at what we do. Now, I'm sure all of you have experienced this, but developing a product, irrespective of the industry, it takes a village. There are so many teams involved. You've got not just product managers, you've got software engineering, you've got data engineering, you've got marketing, sales, your UX team, analytics. Clearly, it takes a lot of people, but lack of clear prioritization, ineffective project management, limited data, or poor change management practices, or even insufficient time dedicated to ideation, they're among the top challenges that kind of restricts the effectiveness of a product. You might have a great idea, it might have a great potential, but if we don't follow a framework to kind of launch it and monitor its effectiveness and really proactively intervene to enhance, then in a bigger picture, it might not be effective. It would lose its effectiveness. Now, here are the questions that I found myself asking from time to time. And have you, do you find yourself asking these questions? Because if you're asking these questions at a later stage, which means you've already launched something and you're asking it, that's an opportunity right there to improve. Clarity on all these three questions should be established before development takes place. Now, simple questions like, how do I restrict my dependency on intuition, guesswork, and fragmented data? And by that, I mean, sometimes you would have gone through a cycle of thinking that this is a great idea, but you don't have any data. It's just a gut feeling. You don't have any data to prove it or even measure it or identify an opportunity. If you have answers to these three questions, they form up confidence. And confidence is super important because the last thing you want to worry about when you're developing or launching something is, I wasn't sure, right? Secondly, a very popular one, how can you connect your idea to North Star. Now, some companies have North Stars, some companies have OKRs. In the end, this is about the idea that you have. How does that connect to your business growing? Not every idea can connect directly, and in my opinion, shouldn't connect to the North Star directly because it becomes very difficult to attribute the benefit back to your idea. There should be a layer of success indicators or success KPIs or key performance indicators, as we call them. Well, I evaluate my teams on outcome and not output, right? Now, just like the teams I talked about earlier that it takes to develop a product, everyone's success and growth in your organization depends on how effective their contribution is. So it's super important for all teams involved in building that project to know how the product is positioned on a bigger picture. We've gone through cycles where, or I hear examples about we developed something, it took 3 months, we did it, it's great, but everybody who's involved in building that, they just moved on to the next thing. They lack transparency on, okay, what are they working on? Especially the engineering teams, like when they're working on, how does that connect to a bigger picture? How did their work impact business growth? On a personal level, it's super important for motivation as well, because otherwise it all becomes, I'm working on a sprint, delivered, next. That cycle can be monotonous. But if I know what I'm working on and how does that impact business growth, that's right there. I know the value that I as an individual, a team as an individual is contributing towards. That's very important for employee experience in any organization as well. But that's a side product. And lastly, what is the best approach to evaluating the effectiveness of the product? This is not just about you launch something and you look at some KPIs. It's also opportunity sizing. It's also defining a success matrix. It also defining a sanity matrix for which you can rule out cannibalization. It's also looking at engagement matrix. Now, all of these are super crucial before the launch, not during, and definitely not after we launch. So these are the questions that actually led me to develop an assessment framework.